welcome to Savagely Delightful, a podcast exposing the schadenfreude nature in all of us. Each week, your co-hosts John and Christy will be coming at you with different stories of people making the kind of dumb mistakes that we all just love to hear about.
Hey everyone, I'm John.
And I'm Christy.
Welcome back to Savagely Delightful.
7th episode.
Lucky number 7. How you holding up?
I am stressed but happy. Happily stressed. It's a contradiction. It's
that's
great.
The new norm.
I live a life of contradiction. It's fine.
That's true.
But yeah, as we know, obviously, but everybody else might not, except if you're our family or friends, we are getting married, and our wedding is in April, and there is still a lot to do.
Actually, I don't think we've talked about our relationship much on this podcast.
Not really.
Christy and I, we've been together for about 3.5 years now, and and we are getting married in April, and we are super excited about it.
We are.
We've been planning our wedding for the past 9-10 months, something like that.
And then I started as a podcast too.
Yeah, why not?
On top of everything that we do.
I mean, only so many hours a day unless you make more time.
Right.
It's been quite the experience because both of us work full time, and I'm also going to school almost full time, just a few credit hours short. And then on top of that, we do this podcast as well. And we just...
It's a fun ride.
It is. It's a super fun ride. And it's a great time for us to have some awesome quality time with each other. Mm-hmm. Because we do both have such busy schedules. You work, long hours at work, and then I always have to go to class. And so whenever we get to sit down and actually talk, it's really nice.
It almost makes like a built-in date night for us too, which is also why we love doing this.
I mean, we have like almost multiple date nights a week.
Yeah, we definitely make time for ourselves.
Yeah, but I don't know. Our communication is really awesome, and so we've noticed that the kind of conversations that we have are a lot of fun to just talk about, and so we decided to record them. And now, we have this podcast. Especially
with awesome stories like what we've been getting and receiving and finding. It's been a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Anyways, John, you want to start us off with our first story for the episode?
Fuck yeah, I do. Episode number 7. So this one was submitted by... Jesus, I'm so sorry already. Joaoperfig is Joao and then Perfig.
Hi, we try. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. And they write, so yesterday was early voting... So yesterday was early voting here in Portugal, and me, being an upstanding citizen, went to get my vote counted. The line was pretty big, but eventually it was my turn. Early voting is awesome. Go vote or else your voice won't be heard.
Can't say shit if you're not voting.
The voting room had a table with 4 staff members and a small voting booth on the other side. I went to the table, gave them my ID, and got the voting sheet. They also handed me a white envelope with it, which I thought was weird, and I had voted before and never used an envelope, but apparently, for early voting, the votes are extra sealed until they are counted, so each goes into an envelope. I made my way to the voting booth, and when I got there, I realized I meant to bring my own pen. Pandemic, makes sense, my bad. I went back to them and borrowed the alcohol-drenched communal pen. Mm-hmm. Back on the booth, I crossed my vote and had to do the awkward 3-part fold to fit into the envelope. I went to the table and I was handing them the envelope. The guy warned me that the flap was open and that it needed to be sealed to be counted later. He sent me back to the booth to do the deed. Back on the booth.
Do the deed.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was perfect after my comment.
Back on the booth, I saw that inside of the flap had a shiny material, so it was one of those lick-to-seal envelopes. I happened to have recently sent a letter like that, so I knew the right amount of saliva to build up on my tongue. Okay.
All the prep work. Yeah. I like it.
So, still, I thought it was quite inappropriate for an election during the pandemic. 100%.
I didn't even think of that.
I mean, not just during the pandemic, but could you imagine, licking all the envelopes for early voting? That'd become like a cesspool of bacteria and just gross DNA.
So funny. I didn't even think about it like that.
Nasty.
That's fucking hilarious.
Anyways, I momentarily took off my mask, licked the flap, and folded it down. My envelope was sealed. Well, apparently, it was not so sealed by the time I was handing it to the guy. The flap was back open. Too much saliva, I thought. He looked at me like I was stupid and said, "This is still open. You went back there and did nothing."
Oh.
He held the flap open, and by now I could see that it was indeed one of those envelopes where they had a layer of glue with a protective paper that you peeled off to seal. I personally was quite proud of the amount of saliva I got on there, but I believe the feeling was not shared. As I saw him grab that moist piece of paper, I could see his soul leaving his body.
It's like thumb and forefinger holding it out.
Still, he managed to seal the envelope and picked up the tiny paper that they gave to those who voted. In his fumbling, saliva-driven pandemic, however, he tossed both the envelope and the tiny paper into the voting box. He probably thought you were just like some jerk that got an attitude and for being sent back to the booth, so you spit on the envelope and handed it back to him.
That is just so funny, though. Like, at least your vote got counted.
Yeah, definitely.
You did your best, and you really put the saliva forward on that one.
You knew how much.
You were looking out, but...
I couldn't imagine the government actually, like, having a whole, like I said, a cesspool of all that, like, bacteria and stuff.
I literally didn't think about that, though. Like, that never crossed my mind.
Oh, I do.
You know, I hate think about that stuff,
germs and gross stuff. Yeah, I just would have been, like, so grossed about it. Because I have, like I said, in, like, the last week's episode, I have this thing about people's bodily fluids that just gross me out.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? The scene from the last redo of... The first movie from the redos of the It movie.
Oh, yeah, you do have an issue with that.
Spoiler, if you guys haven't seen it, but the last scene, all the kids cut their palms and then, like, hold each other's hands.
I literally thought John was gonna puke when we saw that.
I was about to puke in the movie theater. Yeah. It was so gross. Like, you don't know, like, what they have in their blood. And guess what? You're like, this is an awesome moment, but everyone has hepatitis now. I'm sorry. It's just so gross.
Yeah, John freaked out with that.
That's probably, like, the peak of it, though, is, like, open wound to open wound.
Yeah.
That's the peak, and I can't do that. That's just nasty. Especially,
he won't touch fresh tattoos with me right now.
Yeah, after almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Man.
Nope, not doing it.
Not at that level yet.
You ready?
I am.
Go for it.
Okay, so straight out the gate, I'm going to come at you with a heavy hitter that I think is hilarious. So, buckle up. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, this is coming to us from Elitist Cuisine, is the username that they're going to use for this. And they say, so I'm lucky to live somewhere that has easy access to the mountains. So my friend groups and I tended to spend time up in them during our teen years, which I would say is unlucky personally because I hate the cold.
I would have liked it.
Anywho, back to the story. One year, my then youth group organized an inner tubing trip up to one of the bunny slopes because Jesus loved sliding down snow or something.
Yeah.
Which, like, is just funny. They say I was pretty excited since it meant I could spend time with my then girlfriend. Fun times were had sliding down the slope for a few hours until we get to the fuck up.
Oh, jeez.
I honestly have no idea why the youth leaders were cool with it. Maybe Jesus was bribed to look away. But my girlfriend and I had the idea of both sliding down on the same inner tube.
Oh, jeez.
So, with her situated on my lap, which was awesome for a 16-year-old uber Christian me.
Oh, yeah, he was busting.
We slid down and hit a bump and tumbled. Okay, so then he says, see, here's the thing I neglected to mention. My girlfriend was a double amputee with 2 prosthetic legs.
Oh, shit.
So here we go. They say, And in case you don't know, some prosthetics can be harder to keep on than others. Mm-hmm. I know there are some that are essentially a tight sock with a screw on it that allows you to basically lock into the legs, but she didn't have those. Hers were more of a tight fitting that she'd put on a sock and pray to God that she could keep a hold of it. Which, like, poor fucking girl, that would be the worst, but, like, I totally understand that was probably cheaper. And if you're still growing, then you don't need to be buying, like, super expensive prosthetic stuff because if you're going to grow right out of it, then it just doesn't financially make much sense.
No, once you get to that age where you stop growing, then you probably get something a little more fancy, a little more permanent, and then, like, that's probably when you get something that's kind of like that. But, yeah, as you're going through the stages, I've seen pictures and videos of amputees that keep all of their legs and they just keep getting bigger and bigger as they grow.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
It is. It's a really cool time lapse kind of like picture or video or something. But yeah, if you're 16 years old, you're not even close to done growing. So
yeah, it just wouldn't make sense at that point. Okay, so, and as a good segue, they actually continued their story by saying, anyways, back to us tumbling. When we hit the ground, we were still next to each other. The snow was basically ice due to prior rain and was thus pretty sharp. So, unsure how I thought to do it, I grabbed her and pulled her on top of me so I'd get the majority of the damage, which is super sweet.
That's a split-second decision.
Yeah, instincts and adrenaline are such a beautiful and, like, wondrous thing. It amazes me.
Sorry to interrupt the story, but that reminds me one time. I was in marching band and I played the tenor drums. It's one with like the 5 different small drums and stuff. Mm-hmm. And during practice one day in the middle of the gym, I was like crab stepping is which where you step sideways but foot over foot. But it was like really fast, going all the way across the gym as fast as you can. And I fell and we had just bought these brand new drums. And so as I'm falling sideways, I turned onto my back, unhooked the drums in the air and hold them up while I landed and hit my head on the gym floor.
What the fuck?
And sorry, it just kind of reminded me of that, yeah. Like, just instincts in the middle of the air, you're like, this is more important, I'll land on bottom.
I mean, that's like when you're drinking and you do some stupid-ass tumble or something and somehow you save your drink the whole time without even thinking about it.
This is important.
Right? Like, some things just click and it's so weird. Okay, so he says, we eventually slid to a stop at the bottom and then became cognizant of a bunch of kids screaming.
Oh, God.
See, in my efforts...
Wait, did they not know about the legs? Oh, my God.
This is a whole separate group of, tiny children. God.
Oh,
right?
Shit.
So they say, see, in my efforts to be a good boyfriend, I must have pulled her too hard. This sudden jerking motion, oh my, knocked one of her legs off, which then slid straight towards a group of elementary school kids.
Oh, man.
Right?
Oh, they would have been freaking out.
Yeah. So they say, I'll never forget the screams from those kids, largely because the whole situation was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Like, scar them for life. Considering the prosthetic she had was the same color of skin as hers, and she had drawn on it, making it look tattooed, it made perfect sense that these kids thought that she just lost a leg, which I guess she technically did.
Yeah, a while ago, but they don't know that.
Right? It says, in the end, I quickly got up and walked over to grab her leg and brought it back to her, careful to show the kids that it was a prosthetic. It was a pretty hilarious fuck-up that I've thankfully grown to enjoy the humor in, and it never fails to bring a smile to my face.
Oh, yeah. Those are, like, genuinely, like, frightened screams.
Oh, you horrified them for life. They are scarred.
Yeah, they're probably still thinking about that. Like,
oh, yeah.
You remember that one time we went on that vacation, the girl lost both of her legs?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely still reminiscing on the horrors of that trip on the mountain.
Oh, man.
But, like, I feel like I would be cracking up way too much to be able to actually stop and, like, tell the kids that it was a prosthetic.
Yeah.
Like, I would not be able to handle myself.
Yeah, once I connected 2 and 2 together, I would be on the ground crying.
Oh yeah, all bets are off.
Hard.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Plus, I don't know if like elementary kids know what a prosthetic limb is. I don't know.
Probably some of them.
Probably depends. Yeah, probably just depends on the kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, that's
but that
too
just
good.
cracked me up so much. I'm like, these kids are scarred for life.
Yep.
Like, and they were a totally separate group from the boyfriend and girlfriend, and he just like saved his girlfriend from potential damage and then damaged all of these children.
You win some, you lose some. Sometimes
right?
At the same time.
Fuck these kids, you don't know them.
Alright, ready for the next one?
I am.
Alright, this one was submitted by Theric99.
Hi.
Hello, Theric. They write, so Sunday morning around 5 a.m., I'm asleep in bed. Like most of us.
Yeah.
They say, 48 years old here, so not exactly a young pup anymore. Age is just a number, do what you want.
I feel like I'm 62.
Oh, hush. I'm having this amazingly intense dream that has dozens upon dozens of people participating in a multiple team event outdoors.
Okay.
In the dream, we're all sitting in a large amphitheater that's holding several hundred people with a massive swimming pool at the bottom of it. Mm-hmm. What can I say? Dreams are weird, right? 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dreams don't ever make sense sometimes.
No, never.
So in the dream, the process of deciding what order each team is going to do the events is determined by a contest. Each team...
So it's a contest for a contest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Each team sends a dozen or two people in or near the massive swimming pool. A volleyball is then shot out of a bazooka-type tube 100 or so feet into the air, and the person who is the first... Yeah. And the person who is the first to catch the volleyball is the team who determines the order of events.
So all you have to do is catch the ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whoever's on this team, they get the ball, and then that team gets to decide the order of events for the actual events that are going to happen.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting so far.
Okay.
So...
I'm rooting for you.
Yeah. So basically, a giant cluster of people diving and fighting in a pool to catch a volleyball first, going 100 feet into the air. I decided to play a bit safe and stay near the edge of the pool on the steps. I saw and heard the launch of the volleyball, and that spinning orb came flying down and landed with a splash less than 5 feet away from me.
Get it.
My mind's eye can still, nearly 36 hours later, picture that volleyball spinning on top of the water in the pool and dozens of people rushing in the torrent to reach it. But I would not be denied. I dove for the volleyball from the steps of the pool. A mere 5 feet away and the closest one to it. I had it in my grasp. That's when it happened. I certainly did not expect it at all. But I dove out of bed, crashing against the bedroom wall 3 feet away and on the carpet.
Oh my god.
My left shoulder had slammed into the wall. My chin hit the nightstand as I dove off. My wife rushed over, awoken in shock at 5 a.m. of me literally diving out of the side of the bed. I was still half asleep, according to her, muttering incomprehensible things and holding my hands as if I were holding something. A volleyball, to be exact. It took a few moments to fully wake up. I was still laying with my shoulder against the wall in this awkwardly odd position, and she was trying to turn me over and help me up. But I couldn't really move much. My shoulder was pretty jacked up and I felt disoriented. A few moments went by and she got me up, sitting down on the side of the bed. 36 hours later, my left shoulder still feels like it got run over by Terry Tate. I can barely lift it over my head. My chin and jaw are both sore for some reason, and my lower back right side has developed a huge bruise. Oh my God. Downside is, I never got to see if my team won or not. God bless, dude.
How do you have a dream that is not scary at all and then end up like traumatized from it and injured?
Well, you have to think he was probably an athlete when he was younger too, because that takes some drive to dive after an imaginary volleyball.
I mean, if it was me, even in a dream, I'm like, no, I'll get there in my own time.
And you know, we'll just go ahead and say that your team won.
Right.
For your sacrifice of the game, you deserve it.
Yeah. We're on your side. We think you won, so that's all that matters at this point.
I also twitch and turn a lot in my sleep, But I gotta say,
Twitch, and I was thinking the application.
No, I don't stream on Twitch.
But no, you definitely Twitch in your sleep.
I Twitch a lot, and I also turn a lot in my sleep. But I can say I've never spearheaded a wall trying to get a good start for my sports team.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you were trying to be Terry Tate to the wall, but the wall won.
What is Terry Tate? I don't know.
So Terry Tate was he was known as the Office linebacker on this short series almost. It was
a YouTube thing?
No, it actually aired on a Super Bowl. I can't remember which one.
Oh.
But it was kind of a short video, I believe. And so it was this office setting, and there's this guy that would just continuously do repetitive things in the office that kind of just weren't really against the rules, but were against unspoken rules. He finished off the coffee and
if
didn't start a new
rude.
pot. Yeah, exactly. Kind of just rude, and just little things like that. If taking an extra long break and that kind of thing. Well, this Terry Tate would come through and just tackle this guy, and he was massive, muscular linebacker looking dude, and would just plow these people over.
Yeah.
For just doing little shit that you can't get the people in trouble for.
Yeah.
But things
just
that
etiquette stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's who Terry Tate was.
Okay.
And so it feels like this guy just got ran over by him, and he tried to do it to the wall, but the wall won.
Yeah. That is hilarious.
And gotta say, it reminds me of episode 4, I believe, when we had a whole bunch of sleepwalking videos.
Yes, those were so good.
Those were hilarious. You guys gotta check that episode out. It was so funny. We were cracking up the entire time.
The things that people will do in their sleep just will never not be funny to me. So if you have any stories of crazy stuff that you have done in your sleep, seriously, send those in. SavagelyDelightful@gmail.com. Love to hear it.
I promise if we get enough, we'll do a whole sleepwalking episode. That'd be hilarious. I love those stories.
Totally would do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Ready?
I am. Okay, so my second story is from an anonymous source. And
it's gotta be good.
They write, this one is pretty funny too. Okay, so they write, so I started working at a call center for a big telecommunications company in roughly 2014. The job seemed good, easy tech support troubleshooting, decent pay. I was pretty excited. During our training, we were getting introduced to all the tools that we would need during our time on the call center floor. This meant troubleshooting software, email and database login credentials, and eventually an in-house chat system that reminded me a lot of AOL. No pictures or identifiers, just your first name and last initial.
And 37 years to connect to the internet.
Right? And away messages. That have to be, every other thing is upper and lowercase.
Yup.
Okay, but they say, now some of you may know, but when you work at a call center, everyone agrees that it sucks, but at least it sucks as a group, which I can't attest to. I've never worked in a call center type thing, but I know that John has gone through different training for or whatever. Can you attest to that?
100%. So different things in the military, everyone hates the military, especially while they're in, but it's kind of just going through the suck together.
Oh, I thought that you went through almost an Apple troubleshooting though.
Oh, yeah, there's that too.
That's what I was talking about.
So no, I was referring to it sucks, but it all sucks together. That's where the brotherhood in the military comes through though.
Yeah.
Is because whenever you're going through it sucks, but you're together going through the suck.
Yeah.
So that's what creates that amazing bond of brotherhood and things, relationships that last lifetimes. But yes,
it makes sense.
I worked at a call center for just a few months, and it was absolutely the worst. I'm not gonna get into the details of who or where, but it was a semi-Apple call center, and it was just it was Apple call center through a third party, and it was
not great,
not
but
the
not
best.
Great together.
Yeah, I didn't make a lot of friends there.
Okay. Well, they say, so I became pretty close with the group there, and the main guy we will focus on in my new group, I will call Keith.
Hello, Keith.
I doubt that so-called Keith is listening.
I know.
Okay, so they write, so one day we come in and our instructor advises us that we will be taking practice calls. I've always been a little bit of a prankster, so my mind went to work on how I can mess with my new friends when the teacher shows us that we will be able to see his screen for the practice calls. Jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
So they go on and say, I should preface this next part with I am a 19-year-old male at this point, and old Keith is a 35-year-old male ex-trucker. So during his practice call, my dumbass sends Keith a simple, "What are you wearing?" with a winky face during the call. I stare at his screen, waiting for the message to pop up, but it never does.
What?
I resend like an idiot, thinking for some reason lag is causing the message to not pop up, which this is not promising coming from a tech support person.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
But they say a minute or two more goes by, and I decide that they haven't activated our chat service yet, so that's why the message isn't popping up. Boy, I really wish that was the case. So now is where I mention that my operations manager also shares the exact same name as my buddy Keith in the chat service.
What?
And you can see where this is going.
Oh my god.
So after...
Oh my god, you just got rid of it for sexual harassment.
After Keith's practice call, I can see my instructor visibly trying to hide laughter as she calls me into the hall. She tells me what happened through tears of laughter, and I asked if I should get my stuff and leave. She said no, but as much as neither Keith cared, like neither of the two Keiths were offended by it or anything, they said that they will be making me take one extra day of training to watch a few videos on sexual harassment in the workplace.
Knew that was coming.
And it says neither Keith let me live it down.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't either. That's hilarious. So when I went through the
call center.
Yeah, the call center training and stuff, I was actually going through it with another one of my best friends, Jeff.
Yeah.
And
Hefe.
Yeah. we had so much fun. We sat kind of in the back, just kind of goofing off with each other. And it was super easy training, and we'd get it all done real fast, and then we'd just kind of, dick around the rest of the time. But yeah, you get that kind of banter with your support person or your teacher, whoever's doing that. But there was also another time that Jeff and I had a class together in high school, and again, him and I were really good students, and so we'd get all of our stuff done within the first 20 minutes of this hour-long class.
Yeah.
And then we'd play games together, we'd send each other messages, that kind of thing. Well, the teacher didn't understand that we were done with our homework and sent Jeff a private message on his computer and almost kind of flirted with him a little bit. What? You guys better get your, work done, with a little winky face, and it was just on a private messenger chat, with him. It was some
winky
wild
faces
times.
Should not be used. Unless you are explicitly trying to.
It was an interesting time, and the teacher was late 50s, almost 60s probably.
So I wonder if they knew.
Probably not.
They probably
didn't
be insinuated that way.
They probably didn't know the etiquette or something.
Probably not.
We had so much fun in that class. I've always had so much fun with Jeff. We've been through a lot together.
Yeah. But that's fucking hilarious that all that happened and you just had to do a day on sexual harassment training because you did a prank.
Yeah, you got it off easy.
But I'm super glad that you did, because I don't think that work always should be super serious or anything. You should be able to laugh and joke as long as it's not causing a toxic environment for somebody else. I think that should be
definitely
allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely know your audience and know when you're stepping over boundaries and if that's okay or not. But yeah, if you can joke and it not be taken to the nth degree of, oh my gosh, then I always think that that's good.
Yeah.
You should be able to be yourself and be able to joke and not offend people. And if you're not offending people, it just be okay.
especially with this guy, he thought he was like just joking around with his buddy.
Yeah.
But
and it was like one guy to another. It's not like it was a female.
Yeah.
Like if he was expressively straight and was obviously doing it to another male, then that's obviously just like a prank or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Versus if it wasn't expressively that way, then it could be misconstrued. But yeah, just the way that it was just such a prank and they were just okay with it, I love.
Yeah, luckily the instructor took it with a grain of salt and just laughed along with it.
I love that he could tell that they were laughing, and he was probably like, oh, fuck. Not a great sign.
Shit.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so that was that story. You want to go to your next?
Yes, I will. This one was submitted by iBeFloe. All right. Hello, iBeFloe. So sometimes when me and my boyfriend call each other, we make weird noises or say weird shit.
Same.
Or just get weird in general.
Same.
Yeah, same.
We're nothing but weird.
Yeah. They say it's just a thing we do. My phone also sometimes doesn't show my boyfriend's name as his name and shows the number instead.
Weird.
Yeah.
Get a new phone.
I've been job hunting all month with barely any replies to my follow-ups except for 3 places. All 3 places have been...
I'm sorry, I hope you find somewhere.
Yeah. Quarantine has hit us all. Hopefully you get a call back.
We're pulling for you. Pull a power move. Lock arms. Episode 5, I think that is.
I think so.
Lock arms. It's a power move. It'll help you.
They got a call back.
Yeah.
They actually got the job.
Yeah. If you get an in-person interview, lock arms like your best buds.
Hold their hands. You'll be remembered.
Yeah. You're great. You're good.
They're right. All 3 places have been taken care of, so I wasn't expecting any more calls or follow-up calls since the interviews, post-interviews, orientation, etc. were all scheduled. Fast forward to just fucking now. I'm watching a video and the phone rings. I glance real quick and just see a number. Oh, it's my boyfriend's name. Pick up, look at the video again, and loudly yell to the world, Zabenya, with all of my might. I look down at the number because I didn't hear a response. Wait, that's not my boyfriend's number. Silence. And they're like, oh fuck, please be a spam caller. And then there's quiet giggling. Hello? Giggling. I'm looking for iBeFloe. I hung up so fast, I had no idea what to say. I hung up and I just started gasping. I don't know if it was one of the 3 places randomly calling me for whatever from a different number, a new company called me to finally follow up, or whatever. I called back to leave a voicemail saying it was one of the kids I was babysitting while I had all these kid noises playing in the background to really sell it. Anyway, how's your Tuesday?
Oh my gosh.
Damn, they went like full send without really knowing like whose number it is.
But like that is so something you or I would do.
Oh yeah, all the time.
We're such weirdos. Like, I could totally see us doing that.
Oh yeah, and I bet they were like so confident. They were like, I'm gonna give this my best Lion King impersonation.
Right?
Like really trying to sell it, and then like their heart just sank because they knew like they just wasted.
Hear giggling of somebody they don't know.
They just wasted like an excellent performance.
That's Oscar worthy, and they didn't even appreciate it right. They weren't ready. Like,
and
you'll never get the praise you deserve from that.
Right. Plus, the person on the other end of that line, they knew it was you. You're not kidding anybody. But
oh yeah.
Yeah, little kid noises in the background or not, you totally got caught.
Once again, maybe it's a power move. Fucking own it.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Like, this person's got balls.
Yeah. They just know how to perform in anxious situations. They're fine.
And silver lining, you probably made their day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll have a story for sure.
Yeah, if you're working in HR and some person just kind of like starts singing to you on a phone call, that would be perfect.
I mean, I hate making phone calls in general, so if I made a phone call and somebody did that, I would feel so much less anxious.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's a good move. That's how I'm going to start answering phone calls.
Yeah. Props to you. I hope you get that job back. And let us know if you do.
Yeah, for sure. It might be a power move. You might just own that. And maybe we're good luck. We'll see what happens.
And then you're known as Timon and Pumbaa. Or the other one that the other person picked from, like, episode 2.
Yeah.
There
whatever.
you go. You ready?
Quite a duo. Okay, yeah, I am. So, my third story is coming to us from, they're using a username. It is Super Matty Boy. So, they say, so, quick backstory. Me, a 26-year-old male, and my brother, a 24-year-old male, live together as roommates in a house with our own bathrooms, which would be so nice.
Yeah, that's dope.
Anytime that, like, me and my sister lived together, we always had a bathroom that we had to share.
Sorry, go on.
Which, like, I just don't like. I always like places and houses that have more than one bathroom, just because if 2 people have to go to the bathroom at the same time, you gotta figure stuff out real quick.
So I actually grew up with my 2 older sisters and me, and all 3 of us shared one bathroom. One sink, one shower, one toilet. Like, that was it. And
that's just so tough.
It kind of was, but you kind of got used to it, you know, if you're used to it over, like, the years and years.
Scheduling it out, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, one of us would shower in the morning while the other 2 are brushing their teeth.
Yeah.
And you try not to spit on the other one when you're, like, rinsing your mouth out.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you work out a system. It's not that bad, but especially growing up. But as you get older, you kind of want that privacy.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so Super Matty Boy says he is quite anal and particular about his hygiene and does not like people using his bathroom. So I tend to use my bathroom as the guest one, too, which is nice. So he says, so here is the fuck up. My brother just recently purchased a Tushy bidet for a nice clean feeling after his restroom breaks.
Sponsor us, Tushy.
I've been on the fence about getting one for the last few months and thought it was great that he got one. Which, like, yeah, I do want a bidet so bad. Like, I find it odd thought to think that it, like, makes your butt wet after you go potty. But, like, it makes sense.
It does make sense, and being American, I've never used one. I know they're becoming a little more popular in America now. But yeah, I've never used one, but I've always been, like, really interested to try it, to see what it would be like.
It just seems so much more gentle. Like, oddly...
Gentle?
Yeah.
Just a little spritz.
I value that in a bathroom break. But, like, the only time that I have ever used a bidet was, oddly enough, at my friend's work.
What?
Yeah, all of her work bathrooms have bidets. And so, like, she told me that, and I went to one of, like, her work party things with her one time, and went there and was like, I'm sorry, but I have to use the bathroom just to try this thing out.
Definitely. I mean,
like,
it's a smart business move, too.
Right? I'm like, well, it's not somewhere that, like, a lot of people would come in and out of.
Oh,
it's
gotcha.
definitely more so for, like, the employees. But yeah, I told her, I'm like, I gotta try this thing out. Like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing in here.
You're like, I gotta go take this bad boy for a run.
Right? Seriously. But they, like, it was a small office, too, so, like, each of them had basically their own stall that they could, like, set the right settings for and everything.
Oh, my God.
Right? Because there's, like, had temperatures and everything else that you could do.
Quitting my job.
Right? But yeah, so she told me her stall, and she's like, just use mine. I'm like, okay. Right?
Hell yeah.
Super nice. So
anyways. Set it to Cadillac mode.
Yeah. Eventually, I want a bidet in my life, is all I'm saying. Okay, so Super Matty Boy says, after installing it last night, I asked if I could use it later. So his brother had installed it, and he's asking if he can use it. And he says, as I was trying to test out the product, but he says no. As I mentioned before, he's quite particular with his bathroom stuff. Tonight, my brother is at work and I have the place to myself. Just ate dinner and my stomach started digesting as my meal worked through me.
He's about to take a ninja shit.
Ding!
Yep.
Let's use his bidet as he's not home to say no.
Yep.
I do my business and was finishing up the act when I looked down. Tushy has 2 options on a dial. Turn left to clean the washing nozzle and turn right to clean your bum.
This is a spot-on promo.
Right? I braced myself and turned the nozzle to the right, and holy moly, it was heaven.
Damn.
Nice, cool water cleaning my bum. It was amazing. I finished cleaning myself and stood up. I looked back down at the bidet and remembered the clean nozzle function. So I reached down to turn the dial to the left, and yet my brain went to full idiot mode, and I turned the dial to the right. At that moment, a glorious, powerful stream came flying from the toilet bowl straight to my bare-ass legs.
Oh, God, you got an enema.
Drenching my socks in the process. That's what I get for my deception.
Yep.
Which, like, at least the water was clean and it was easy cleanup afterwards, so your brother still doesn't have to know.
Yeah, plus you're, like, extra clean down there anyway.
Right? Like, just clean up quickly, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it would have been worse if he, like, said no because he hadn't hooked it up properly yet.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and then you went to use it and it just leaked water everywhere.
Flooded the bathroom.
And made
everything.
a whole huge mess.
Yeah.
He comes back and he's like, why is my bathroom flooded? And you're just like sopping wet, like, I don't know. What are you talking about?
I've been in my room this whole time.
Like, what even? But yeah, so lesson of the story that I take from this is I need a bidet.
We'll get you one.
Eventually, right?
I'd like to try one. Like I said, I've never used it before, but I'm very interested because, you know, people need to make a little more effort to...
Take care of their bums.
Well, I was going to go more towards the area of take care of the earth, less toilet paper use and paper use. But yeah...
I'm worried about my butthole.
Make that shitter shine. Like, I don't know. Yeah, take care of yourself, definitely. But it's also very, like, a lot better...
It's more earth-conscious.
Yeah, a lot better economical choice to do. But yeah, clean your asshole, I guess.
Yes. It's nice and gentle.
Take Christy's word for it.
Eventually, I will become a part of high-class society. Probably not. I don't think I belong there.
We'll be the ones that, like, crank the party up.
We're, like, the ones that people just look at and they're like, but they're fun, at least.
You're at this nice, like, social event with, like a lot of high-class people, and you bust out of the bathroom like, have you guys tried that shitter?
It fucking has water coming up your butthole. It's great.
There's a doorman in there.
Anybody got some ones?
God bless it. Okay, so the next story. This is my last story. And this was submitted by PrettyBird02.
Pretty bird.
Pretty bird. So they write, last summer I was being super good about keeping up with my cross-country practices while out of town at my grandparents'. It's ridiculously hot and humid whenever I visit in the summer, and coming from a really dry place, I end up sweating like a pig. Like, even my ears sweat. I wouldn't mind,
This does
but...
not sound fun.
Yeah, I've never had my ears sweat before.
Count me out of all of this.
I wouldn't mind, but it gets in my eyes, and if I'm wearing mascara, it's horrific.
You're gonna look like you're crying.
Or like a raccoon.
Yeah.
My dad suggested that I bring a rag along for my next run, something I can wipe my face with. Genius, I thought. The next morning, I took a random washcloth with me for the long run, tucking it into my shorts. I realized that I dropped it about a mile in, but I was planning to come back the same way, so I didn't sweat it. Pun intended.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
Sorry. Caught me off guard. I'm ready now.
When I came back, I saw the rag on the shoulder, but there were fire ants all over it. My face was dripping with sweat at this point, and I was getting desperate. I used a variety of stomping and tossing maneuvers to get all the ants off, and proceeded to wipe my face, arms, and neck with a rag.
Oh.
Sweet relief. Maybe the ants should have been the red flag. Maybe I should have noticed how weird the rag smelled. But I wiped my face anyway. When I get home, my grandma... Huh?
They bite?
Well, when I get home, my grandma is up, so I toss the rag on the table and grab something to eat from the kitchen. Her first comment is that I smell really weird, but I chalked it up to run or sink. I mean, if you're doing cross-country, you sweat a lot, you stink a lot, you can't really smell a lot because, you know, you're going forward at such a fast pace.
And all
yeah,
that.
and plus, like, you could be, like, on a runner's high, too, so not paying attention to it. And so there's a lot of things, so you're not worried about how much you stink. Then she writes, then her cat jumped up on the table and started intensely sniffing the rag, mouth open and eyes huge.
What the fuck?
We both thought that was weird, so my grandma picks up and sniffs the rag, and she busts out laughing. I was wiping my sweaty face with a nasty piss-soaked rag during my run. I cannot believe I didn't notice. Soaked in piss.
Cat pee smells so bad, too. It's like a very distinctive smell.
That is, but you don't know if it was a cat. The cat sniffed it, but you don't know what pissed on it.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, and that's why all the ants were on it, because if you pee anywhere, ants always flood to it for some reason.
Oh, no.
I have 2 huge problems with this.
Okay, first.
The first, ants.
Yes.
Stomping and tossing. You're smashing it into the rag. If you're stomping on them.
I mean, maybe.
If you're, like, whipping it around, like, they might fly off.
I was going to say.
Stomping and tossing, nope. Like, you got ants all in the rag. And she said there were fire ants.
Yeah, that's the part that got me. That's why I was thinking biting.
I mean, yeah, maybe. You don't know if you got them all. But then also, even if you did stomp them to the rag and stuff, you're wiping those bug guts all over you. Kind of like that one girl that was brushing her teeth with the bug in the toothbrush.
Yeah.
Was that from episode 2?
I think that was episode 4.
You're right. Actually, it might have been episode 4. I don't know. We'll have to go back and look.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like she said, her face, her arms, like everything, just bug guts all over her. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2, like I understand you were getting desperate, but like I would rather have my eyes stinging from sweat than I feel like I'd be able to notice animal piss on a rag. Is it not wet? I understand it's dry and it's dry and humid.
I was gonna say if it's that dry, then it maybe would have like evaporated.
I don't know how quickly pee evaporates.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on the subject.
Oh, I am. I'm just kidding.
But like, yeah, she just takes it like, oh wow, this is already wet. Take a little sniff. Wow, that smells like animal piss.
Oh man.
Yeah, that poor girl. I couldn't do that.
But especially if she's running the whole time too, she probably like it doesn't even register.
Yeah.
Like get off the ants that you can visibly see and then wipe and then just keep going. Like as you're going too.
Yeah, definitely.
Then yeah, you would not even notice or think about that.
But animal piss has such a strong and distinct smell. Like when Christy and I were first house hunting, our realtor found a house.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
yes.
Our realtor found this house. And so we followed her to it, and, it looked pretty nice from the outside. She's like, well, I haven't been here yet. Let's walk in and take a look. So we're all standing by the front door. She unlocks it, opens up the door, and we're not even inside yet, and this whole waft of cat piss just hits us. And I'm not talking like, I think I smell cat pee in there. It was
distinctive.
It is full-blown clouds hitting you in the face, almost vomiting on the sidewalk right there in front of the house.
And even our realtor had turned around and she was like, we don't even need to look at this.
Yeah.
Like, let's just leave.
Yeah, she goes, you guys don't have to go in there. It's so bad. Like, I'm so sorry. And, Christy and I, the housing market was really bad at the time, especially during this pandemic.
And we're still, this is our first house together.
Exactly. And so we were like, let's still go in there and see how it is.
Maybe we can save it.
Yeah, and so, we put our shirts over our noses, before masks were mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
And, excuse me. And we start walking around. After a few minutes, the smell is so potent and pungent that we just could not take it anymore.
And it was a old house in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were walking around and it's like, it is just not fucking worth it.
No, not at all. We got out of there after a couple minutes and it was, like she said, it wasn't worth it just to even be in there.
Yeah. We love our house now and we loved our realtor. She was great.
Yeah. Monica was awesome.
Yep. But, you ready for my next story?
I am. Hit me with it.
Okay, so my 4th story, our last story for the episode, is coming to us from our buddy Chase.
Hey, Chase.
Hi! Okay, so he doesn't explicitly state it up front in his story, so just want to preface it by saying that he was born without half of his left arm. Also, this is not so much his mistake as much as it is somebody else's, and then making sure that they had paid the consequences of it. Okay, so Chase says, gym was my least favorite quote-unquote subject, and it shows. There were a lot of things that I felt left out on, no matter how hard my peers tried to include me. I'll personally never forgive the school for denying my request for a crossbow during the archery unit.
God bless.
Which, like, they were probably like, what the fuck? A bow is already technically a weapon, let alone giving a student a crossbow without the funds, like, themselves to even buy a crossbow.
He has one fucking arm. God.
He's gotta aim, okay?
Yeah, just give him a bow gun.
Yeah, fuck it all. It's fine. Okay. John's like falling for that.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just like picturing it. He's just sitting like, what the fuck, guys?
Right? It's like, I don't know why you can't hit the target, but...
Yeah, just use your feet, come on.
Okay, so he says, anyways, in 9th grade phys ed, we had a big, swole, peak masculinity king as our teacher. He was about 30 and was pretty good looking, so the girls called him Mr. Bangable, a play on his real name. Which I'll omit. Good choice. One week, Mr. Bangable announced that his wife had given birth to his first daughter early, and that we'd have a substitute teacher for a while, much to the chagrin of the girls in the nearby class, as they spent most days staring at him through the classroom windows. The next day, we arrived to class to find a rail-thin, malnourished-looking old man behind Mr. B's computer. He rose up and scrawled his name on the whiteboard. He informed us that he was a no horseshit teacher and that he would quote-unquote have our asses if we misbehaved.
Man, I hated when subs are always like super strict like that. You're a sub, you don't know where we are, you have these notes, chill.
Yeah, like, just sit down, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, sit the fuck down.
You're a placeholder.
Right? So...
a needed placeholder for all, like, the good subs, but, like, don't be an asshole.
Don't be that guy. Okay, so Chase says, beside me, someone yelled, "Oh my god, sir, you'll have our asses?" And said, he sat straight up and replied, "That's right, your ass will be my property."
Jesus Christ.
But like,
this sounds like the start of a porno.
Fuck that. That crosses so many lines already.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Like, do not say my ass will be your property. My ass is not even John's property. But, like...
Not yet.
I mean, you're right. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So, Chase says, somewhat taken aback by his old school approach to fostering the minds of tomorrow, the air shifted. It was as if there was a chorus of horns and rays of light surrounding us. It had all become so clear. We're going to ruin this man's entire career.
Yeah, he's just completely out of context with society.
Fuck
and like
this dude.
I mean, he's probably so...
He's out of touch.
Yeah, he's out of touch with, like, what the sayings are. Or, like, how, the words he's phrasing is.
Yeah. But he said, Chase goes on to say... Now, this may sound drastic, sadistic even, but we were young and bored, and rumor had it that he had been around long enough to teach our grandparents, so to us, that meant it was time to seal his metaphorical coffin. And if this weren't enough to convince us, the events of the second day's gym class would. We had a heavy week planned full of dodgeball games as it was our yearly gym class tourney. My team, for lack of a better term, was kicking absolute ass. I hadn't been out yet, and it was the final round of our tournament that he had sealed his own coffin. My teammate and close friend, Hunter, took a shot to save our cannon-armed, soon-to-be state quarterback and retreated to the sideline. The sub saw his opportunity to make a new friend and approached Hunter smiling and pants nipple high. He gestured in my direction almost cartoonishly and said loudly, "That cripple caught any balls yet?"
What the fuck?
Right?
What an asshole.
That side of the gym went silent. I had no clue what was happening. From all accounts, you could hear only breathing.
That's a pen drop moment.
Then...
That's such a dick move.
Right? He says, then the horns sounded again. This time, complete with an angelic chorus.
Nice.
My peers had their dirt.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They were about to put a plan in motion.
Mm-hmm.
One day passed since the incident, and now I had become, quote-unquote, that cripple. It's not much, but it's something. The bell signaling the beginning of gym class rang, and we all filtered to our assigned spots in lines on the floor. The sub entered, blew a whistle, and waited until we quieted down. Now, men, he said, as if he were a training soldier, warm-ups. Everyone assumed the push-up position except me, because, you know, three-legged tables don't stand so well. We love you guys.
Damn it, Chase. Too true.
So he says, at the fourth push-up, the sub blew the whistle again.
Sorry, go on.
At the fourth push-up, the sub blew the whistle again. He stared dead at me and said, why aren't you pushing, boy? Is your hand broken? And he replied and said, there's no hand to break, sir. I said, a little embarrassed. Come on, don't be a coward, he challenged. I'm not sure what I'm scared of, I said, thoroughly confused. Give me 10 now, he demanded. Sir, I don't even have that many fingers, I replied. My friends giggled, sending the sub into a state between anger and slaughter. He strutted over to my spot, got down at eye level, and whispered, now I see you're fighting a weight problem. He paused because I had started to protest whatever was about to be said. He stuck a finger in my face, shutting me up. Just because you're big and crippled doesn't mean you have to be lazy. Which, like, sidebar, at this moment, I would be seeing red. Mm-hmm. Like, fuck this guy.
Oh, yeah. Fight your gym teacher.
For one, like, you don't talk to somebody like that
Not
ever.
at all. Ever, yeah.
But for two, like, don't you fucking dare put a finger in my face.
Yeah, that's one of your triggers.
That is one of the most disrespectful things that you can ever fucking do. Mm-hmm. At least in my opinion. Like, I have only had this happen to me once before and literally just had to leave the place entirely because, like, I am not a physically violent person, but if I did not leave, I was gonna lay hands on that person.
Yeah, you're not aggressive at all. Not
at all, but, like, it's just the level of disrespect that I can't deal with.
I get that, yeah.
So anyways, back to Chase. He says, with that, the gym teacher had got up and walked away. I was a little stunned. The audacity. Agreed. Fuck this guy.
Yep.
The audacity. The guy had balls. Big ones, too. And I was going to make sure he got neutered.
Good.
Hell yeah. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
So Chase says, after class, a group of friends and I hatched a small, simple plan. Simple Plan's a great band. Anyways, my friends
No shame plug.
Right. My friends would go to the head office and explain that a student had been insulted by a teacher, and he was so upset by it that he was nearly inconsolable. Then I'd play the sad kid card. He'd get fired and we'd be happy.
Teachers are always gullible when it comes to anything a student wants them to believe.
Well, and I mean, not only that, but, like, especially if it's a sub.
Yeah. They
have no reason to believe them.
Yeah, they have no investment in this guy.
Yeah. So they say, we carried out the plan while the teachers, including the sub, were at lunch. This gave us direct access to the principal and dean of students. From there, I just told them my side of the story, and the rest, including his job, were history.
Good. Fuck that dude.
Right? Like, finger snaps. Yes. Fuck this guy. Like, such a toxic dude. He does not need to be allowed to be teaching any students at all.
No, he has such an antiquated way of thinking about things.
It is very outdated.
Yes. Yeah.
It is so toxic to, like, certain people especially. So as far as it's concerned, I think that you did future students a favor by exposing how much of a mistake this dude made on a daily basis.
100%. Yeah, I think you were in the right to get this guy fired.
Yep.
There's no way that he would have changed, like, who he was either.
Yeah, no. I mean, by that time, he's set in his ways, which is definitely a part of how they were raised, just like how we are more sensitive to everything is more of a part of how we were raised.
A little bit, yeah.
But at that point, bye-bye, substitute.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah,
It's time to be done, and times have been had.
Mm-hmm. I ended up loving my physical education teacher just because I know I've been talking about Jeff a lot lately, but
Cafe?
Yeah, Jeff and I had our physical education class together, and we used to just mess with our teacher all the time. I mean, just from simple little quips like in the middle of the class to writing, like we would have one of those giant pens. Like Jeff had one of those giant pens that was like a foot and a half long. It was like 2 inches in diameter.
Weird.
And he like took a test writing with that.
Oh my god.
Completely serious.
Would.
Yeah, completely serious, not even worrying about it. Like what are you gonna say something? And yeah,
that.
deadpan, just like taking this test, like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
And then he had these giant pair of scissors, like plastic scissors. And you know how there's like a 1-inch margin on the outside of like all the papers that are printed? It's not against the rules. So he took the scissors and cut around the outside of the entire test, but left all of the text inside of where it was printed. So like he cut all the corners off. He like made a rounded edge on the outside and then took the test. So he turned in a completed test, but like, I don't know, just to mess with our teacher because she was kind of like a major pushover and we just had a lot of fun with her. He would just like mess with different things all the time. And there's a difference between messing with your gym teacher and your substitute being a complete dickhead.
Yeah, like for sure. There's people you mess with and people that absolutely deserve it. And from what it sounds like, this dude definitely does not need to be teaching anymore.
No, not at all. He needs to stick to retirement.
Yeah, just retire. Just chill. Be by himself a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's about all I got for that.
Yep.
But yeah. So we are super glad that you guys joined us, though, again, for our 7th episode.
Yeah.
And we're excited to bring more to you guys.
Yeah.
So.
Can't wait to see you guys next week.
Yep. Bye-bye. We love you.
See ya.
Bye-bye. So, you may have made a mistake today, but at least you didn't mess up as badly as the people we discussed. And if you did, we'd love to hear about it, and we may even feature your story on an upcoming episode. You can find us online at www.savagellydelightful.buzzsprout.com, on Twitter at savage_delight, and on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Savagely Delightful. If you like what you heard today and want to show your support, please consider donating to us on Patreon at patreon.com/savagelydelightful. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss future episode releases, and please consider leaving a review so it's easier for others to find our podcast.